Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics. Today we're doing episode 2 of the typography series that I'm currently making. And today we are discussing kind of a basic technique based around anchor points and positioning. Anchor points and positioning are really important when it comes to moving, scaling, rotating, well, objects, I guess, in this case letters, just so you get the right effect. So yeah, it's a very simple thing to understand, I think, but it's vitally important that you understand it. Enjoy! Okay, here we go in After Effects. We are going to start off with a new composition, just some random stuff. It doesn't really matter because all I want to show you today is how to modify letters with the normal transforms. So scale, rotate, things like that, move. And we're going to start off with a text layer. I don't actually have to make a text layer. I can just do it like this. We're going to take the M, whatever, it doesn't really matter which letter we take, because we're going to have to do the same thing that I did in the previous tutorial, which is we have to make this into a solid. And last time I did this by really tracing the entire letter. This time we're going to do that a little bit differently, because we can actually just use one of the effects to actually, well, just do what we want it to do. So instead of this being a green letter, I want this to be a white letter. And now we're going to go to our solid that we want. It's going to be orange apparently, and we're going to set this to Lumamat. There you go. Letter achieved. So now that I have this letter, however I made this letter, it doesn't really matter. What I want is I want this point, the anchor point, to be in the correct spot. So I'll show you some things. First of all, we have to go to the actual M, because that is where the thing matters. Anchor point can be found by hitting A on your keyboard. And yeah, that will show you the anchor point, which is currently over here. So if I rotate at this moment, let's see if we can find the rotation. It will rotate around the anchor point, as you can see. So if we move that around a little bit, so just hit A for anchor point, and then you can drag it around. You will have to work with the combination of A and P, so anchor point and position, to actually get this to the correct spot again. But yeah, those of you who have followed some of my tutorials will have noticed that before. So yeah, the position will move the entire letter. The anchor point will move the letter, but not the anchor point. So you can position the anchor point at the correct thing, and then you can position the letter in the correct position back. And basically you have some tools for that, but I don't like to use third-party plugins just because not everyone has them. And what we're going to do now is rotate again, and now you will see that it rotates around the middle part. So depending on what you want to place this either in the middle or the bottom or maybe in the corner. So let's do something else. So we're going to place it in the bottom left corner, and well, as I said, just move the anchor point to the place where you want it, then hit the P for position, and then just go back to wherever you were or wherever you wanted that. So now let's go scale, and the scale will also go from that point, so from that anchor point. That is why it's called an anchor point. You can see that if I put it to virtually 0% or actually 0%, it will just be in that anchor point. And then if I scale it up, it will scale from that anchor point. So the further away from the anchor point, the more the movement will be. And this movement is a completely different one. So this is a completely different one from if I would move the anchor point, let's say over here, and then over here. And then let's get back to position. I'm not going to do it very precisely, but remember what we had before? Now if I scale it back to 0, now you can see that it just comes from the middle, and it's more like the McDonald's M now. You can actually fly through it if you want to. That's how those things are made. So yeah, scaling and all the other transforms, they work with the anchor point. So keep that in mind. Position your anchor point and your position correctly, and scale, rotate, as well as the position itself will just move from that anchor point. For the position, of course, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't really care where your anchor point is because, well, it's a translation, so it's easy enough. But for rotate and scale, definitely take care of that anchor point. So it's a very basic technique, I guess, but in future videos we will see that it's vitally important to know these basics if you want to make a good typography, well, animation, I guess. So yeah, not really spectacular, but important nonetheless. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.